New South Wales crew, I hope you've got that extra hour's sleep. You enjoyed it after that mixed bag of results yesterday. There were three very interesting games. This first one, especially 32 all. How good's having one player in this game when it goes to 10 minutes of extra time? The amount of players in this game that it picked up an extra 10 to 15 points just in that little section there was crazy, especially guys like DCE who were struggling throughout this game to pick up points. He wasn't involved in a lot of the attacking efforts there and pick up some extra points. It obviously helped guys like Miller, but very highly owned, obviously, who's the guy I had. So 32 all in this one. Crazy. As I said there's a bunch of guys that really made or broke their season here. In this early stage, there's guys that had a pretty poor score and really dropped their money-making potential. And then there are other guys, Tyrell Sloan, in that last 15 minutes that absolutely propelled their money-making potential to the sky after a really good finish and a great score there against the Dolphins. So we're going to discuss all of those guys, but 32 all in this one. Dom Young with 4 tries and a cracking what should have been a match winner and wasn't to be, with Lockie Miller missing that goal kick. What are our thoughts on the Hastings kicking for the first half and Miller for the second half, and they kicking dependent on wind, it seems like, at the moment? So yeah, very interesting in how that's playing out. So yeah, Dom Young, 79, comes off a pretty low average of what he was before this, and shows that the Knights need to use him for the entirety of the year because he is a match winner. He is a game breaker. In this one, 4 tries, 4 try assists, 227 meters was spectacular. Lockie Miller with his 71. So 13 tackle breaks, guys. It shows that he is a clear keeper this year and should be for the entirety of the year. These last 2 games have brought him up to just above that average that he had at the Sharks in the limited game time that he had there. So very exciting that guy that we started with is going to move from low range mid-ranger to most likely keeper at an over 50 average. You'd imagine at least he's a 50 from here on in. And if the Knights can continue to play okay, like they showed today or yesterday there, that he can do that. But 280 kick meters, they even had a getting out of the in goal for 2 points there. But 1 try, assist, and 2 goals, and to get 71 points is exactly what you're looking for in a fullback. 54 in his sort of base, being the meters game and the tackle break. So if you don't own him, he's a must, unfortunately. Get him in as soon as possible. If people looking at fallen guns like Teddy and stuff, but Miller's on the rise and averaging a lot better at this stage. We'll obviously want Teddy, but Miller's been the one from the start. Greg Marzhew, he's an interesting one. Really need to look at their next bunch of fixtures and work out if you think that it's going to affect him. But obviously this type of game here, where it was a dry weather footy game and lots of points, is going to benefit him greatly. Open pastures, 7 tackle breaks there, a couple of line breaks, even a try saver in the end for him. 69 points and a cracking average over the first 2 games. He'll be clearly over 600k after this one, but is he going to be keeper level status like we've got with Miller? Both of these guys in your same team could have games where you get a 30 each out of both of them, but then you could absolutely dominate like this. So really just have them in isolation. Don't look at it, I've got 2 Knights players. Just have it as, what is Greg going to produce and what's Lockie going to produce, because they can both do it in slightly different ways. Obviously, Marzhew with some tries, but obviously the tackle breaks and the run meters for those 2. They're the big meter eaters, and every time they get the ball, most of the time, pretty much all the time, they're looking to run first and then pass from there. So Lockie is improving his passing game, which is just allowing him to get more assists, but all the extra running is great for him. Dane Gagai, he did this last year too, didn't he? Came out and absolutely dominated to kick things off. 57.5 average for him. Again, just involved in everything. Big run meters, some offloads in there, some big tackles and tackle breaks to go along with a couple of line break assists and a try assist. So well done. And he didn't even play on Marzhew's side this week. So he obviously had Dom Young with him, which either way, I think they're both great finishers, and you're going to help Gagai, whichever side Young or Marzhew play on. Olakau'atu, bit of an interesting game for him. Obviously a sin bin in there, but still able to get 62 with a try. We know what he's capable of week in, week out, and he's averaging about what we thought he would, that low 50s. Potentially a little bit higher week to week if he can get a little bit more consistency in his base stats, which in this one was obviously a long game, with 32 tackles and the 200 meters. Exactly what you're looking for out of him. Morgan Harper, turning back the clock. For those that are giving him crap, he actually had a pretty good game. 27 tackles in this one for a centre. Good run meters. Missed tackles weren't crazy. No errors. And had a line break and a try assist. So give Harper his flowers, guys. Leo Thompson. This is getting out of hand, isn't it? The man that we loved last year at the super cheap price of 228 comes out and is averaging 48.8 across these first 5 games. So these last 3 have been crazy. And obviously this extra time for him helped out. He ended up with a try saver. He got the 43 tackles. There's an offload. There's a turnover tackle in there. All great news for anyone that owns Leo, which is an okay percentage now at 3. I'll have to have a look in the top 5,000, which you can check, guys, in footystatistics.com. The top 100, top 1,000, and top 5,000, and their ownership percentage. If you're ever questioning that, have a look at that. You just type in their name, and it'll pop in underneath. Jackie Johns, 58. He played really well. He had a lovely little grubber that went through that should have been a try assist. I think they pulled it back, but did a great job overall. 27 tackles, 1 miss. Only had the 41 minutes, but in his time on the park, he was terrific with that try as well. Trbojevic, Jakey boy, 90 minutes in this one. Wow. Effort on effort. Incredible that he can produce that in the middle. 49 tackles, 133 meters. So big effort from Jakey to have 133 meters, no offloads, no tackle breaks. Come on, man. Just give us one. Give any of those owners one. They're still at 4.3%. So you're very happy with that score, averaging 52 for the year. So he's going to make some money over the next few weeks, that's for sure, with some low break evens. Tommy Trbojevic, 56 for him. This could have been a lot higher. So non-owners, be happy. Owners, semi-happy, but really, after last week, you're hoping that this is the one where you can come out and get a 75-80. And there was one there where I think whoever scored first dummied to him on the outside and could have scored. And then, there was a try assist that one of the guys went just short by like quarter of a meter. So worked out all right there that he ended up going well. 297 meters, but 90 minutes, you would have hoped for way more tackle breaks at 3. And 2 try assists and 3 line break assists. It will come. This was one of those games where at least you can get away with a 56 when he doesn't score and doesn't get try assists and stuff like that and do well. Tuolangi, 56 for him. He was solid. Do you start to look at him? Look, 43.3 average is pretty good. Obviously, everyone in this game, though, you need to look at this and go, oh, they got the extra 10 minutes. And a lot of them weren't scoring well. It was very high scoring, so those that were scoring tries were getting involved a lot. But other than that, you can see how many 50s are here, and they weren't there before that extra 10 minutes. So that's that. But guys like, Tuolangi, Frizzell, those fallen type of guys, Tuolangi hasn't lost too much. He'll start to make money now, and he becomes a sneaky sort of mid-range option in the edge. But there are a few that are popping up over, last week with Hosking, and there's a couple more coming in over the next couple of weeks. And we've got guys like Hame Sele, who are a potential cheaper option as well. So that's that. Okay, we move to, Frizz and Brayley. So 54 and 52 respectively. And Frizz there, no real attacking stats. He just had the 1 try assist there, getting it out to Dom Young. And, kind of did his job, I suppose. There wasn't really much involved in this game for Frizz. The base stats weren't going to be there, definitely, with 32 all. So you'll take the 54, get out and move on, considering he is priced at 614, which means he's about 10 points undervalued from that score. So he's about a 44 in that 614 bracket there. Hilariously enough, that Brayley is the exact same price and has also gone down. So for him as well, it was a little bit of a worry. This type of game was never going to be his game. That was, about 55, 60 minutes in. I was looking at his score of about 30, and I was going to tell owners just, hold steady with him. If you did pick him up this week, don't be too annoyed. Obviously annoyed at the one game, but it was 32 all in this matchup, and he's never going to have that many tackles, which obviously worked out in that last 10 minutes. He picked up about 10 tackles there and sort of got his way to a 52, and I'd expect a mid-50s from him regularly. This is one of those bad games, which worked out okay, obviously, for him there. Cherry Evans and Garrick, both 51. And Cherry Evans, I saw a few people captained him. He's still averaging 62 for the year, and this is what we expect. So up and down games. Just wasn't involved in all the attacking raids, which happens sometimes. There's other times where he's involved in absolutely everything. Round 1, for example. And this one here, not so much, but that's okay. Ruben Garrick there, 51. He got involved right at the end with that nice try, a great finish, and shows it how much of a good player and a good finisher he is in this game. But he did awesomely, guys. 51 in this one. For that, he's priced under that, which is good. So anything above that is going to be great. And Manly, I think they need to sort out a few things defensively, but was able to attack really well and do a good job. Hastings, 51 for him, was also decent, like his best score of the year. So averaging 43 now. He's going to get closer to his starting price, but yeah, hasn't been great. 660 kick meters, 20 tackles, no try assists, which was annoying, but yeah, there's still a little chunk that own him, 2%, but that's that. Paseka, big one. Fitzgibbon, got sin bin, still got 48, so he's been super consistent, as we said. Saifidi, big minutes for him, 47. Again, you'd be hoping for way more, just not providing at the moment. If you picked up Matt Croker over the last few weeks, another 40 in his arsenal. Well done to him, but again, inflated minutes for a few of these guys. Who else we got down here? Lockie Croker with 30. Yeah, not great. I think if you've got him, you're avoiding him. But I don't think Benny do, which is good. Jonesy, Kepi. Again, another game where the middles just wasn't going to be his game. You got whacked in the face as well. I'm not sure how that affected him too much, but 4 missed tackles for him, which he hasn't been getting. He's been going through 30 tackles, no misses, and getting great scores. He'll be back from this, guys. Still got the 44 minutes, so that's good. And we know what he's been doing in those amount of minutes on a regular basis in those first 3 games that he's played. Let's move to that Dragons-Dolphins game. We'll get straight into Tyrell Sloan in this one because, yeah, it just worked out perfectly for him in that ending, didn't it? 52 for him. He did pick up the try and a couple of tackle breaks there, and then he picked up the try saver and the turnover tackle in that last play. So really, he was on about 20 and then just went bang, bang, bang and picked up all those extra points right at the end, which for owners is very, very lucky, but it also shows that he's just involved. He's doing his thing. Defensively, it was a great tackle on Bostock, and then he's there available when an offload comes. So kudos to everyone that picked him up. At 357, when you're getting a 52, you're way above the pack, which is great. And not super highly owned. Enough people in the top 5,000, it was about 35%. So nothing crazy, but definitely enough for you to put your best foot forward and get ahead of the game. So Sloaney, will he be an option next week? I don't know. He's going to be closer to 400k. Thankfully that he had that low score last week. So if you are looking to pick him up, he won't go crazy. But that's that there. Let's go straight to Bird now because 54 for him in this effort. At one stage, he had 6 tackle breaks and 23 meters gained. So shows that sometimes the tackle breaking and the efforts like that doesn't really help you on the field, but it works great for fantasy. And for those that own him, amazing. For those that sold him, very sad because people would have sold him for Lemuelu, and the tides turned this week. We'll see in a second down the line that Lemuelu ended up with 36. 48 last week, and then Birdie with the 32 last week, and then a 54. So it all rounds out. Bird's going to be the more consistent guy. You saw Lemuelu with 9 missed tackles. That's something Bird can do, but it's not more of a regular occurrence. And Birdie there with 80 minutes. The good news is for him that Ben Murdoch-Masila played the full 80, which just means Bird's going to spend a little bit more time through the middle, and did end up with a couple of line break assists and a try assist as well, obviously as that link man in the center. So Birdie, I'm going to tell you just to buy him again. I don't know why you're selling him. But anyway, that's that. Isako, 80 in this one. What a year he's had. Wow. You would have thought to start with him at 400k at the beginning of the year. He's going to be up around that 550, 570 mark after this. So somewhere between there. I can't remember his score last week. I don't think it was as high. But yeah, involved in everything. Even a try saver in this one. But 3 line breaks, try assist, try. Went nuts. So if you picked him up over the last bunch of weeks, so he started with him. Incredible work. He's got a little bit of an ownership now, 6.3. Those people are absolutely cheering. Blake Laurie continues to do it. I don't know how it's happening. He's averaging 56. Since when? He's been a 40s kind of guy, and now he gets to a 56 average. So awesome from him. Benny Hunt, don't be fooled by these types of scores, guys. You see here he was averaging in the low to mid 40s before this score, and a 72 in this outing. But big congratulations to him and the entirety of the Dragon side for having a nice bounce back after 2 really poor ones. Obviously, things didn't go Dolphins' way. They had Milford go down injured, and they had Sean O'Sullivan last week go down injured. They're missing Felice Kafusi. There's a few things happening, and this was the biggest worry for the Dolphins, was what would happen when they lose a few decent players, because their depth is going to be tested, and I don't think they have a lot that's ready to be NRL talent at this stage. And you saw in this game, the Dragons kind of ran riot on the Dolphins, and I hope that this isn't something that we see going forward, but it well may be. That's that. Marshall King, nothing much for him in this one. 48. People are looking at picking him up. He'll score fine. He'll be around that 50 pretty regularly, guys. Little started the game in this one, did score a try and got a try assist and picked up 45 in 49 minutes. We know what he can do with 80, but until he is able to get that, Mbai is injured or Sullivan, there's so many different question marks surrounding him and that 9 role. I think you need to avoid him. If you own him, you'll take the 45, but yeah, not ideal overall. Lomax, a good return game from him after his 2 or whatever he got last week, so that's good. Curry, Sully, Bromwich, we had Lemuelu, 36. So great work ethic. I'm happy with his 41. There was 2 there that they got through him as the last defense man to score a try. There was a couple that they just ran sideways and he just decided to throw an arm out. So missed tackles at 9 isn't ridiculous because of that reason, but it is ridiculous in terms of our scoring. So not good for us at a neg 18. No errors, no penalties is good. 77 run meters, we'd like that to be up around the 100, 110, just so we have more chance of offloads and tackle breaks and the like there. But something we can deal with is that 36. It was 40 before updates. That just looked a little bit better, didn't it, than that 36, but that's okay. 41 tackles overall is good news. Very good news. Tommy Gilbert, 35 for him. He's had a fall from grace the last 2 weeks. I decided to pick him up in Supercoach after his hot start. And that, again, just is another example of why you look for a bigger sample size with a bunch of these guys. We spoke about Murray's, the Haas's, these types of guys, and we obviously got them in the next game, but they have that longer track record of doing great things, Clearys and stuff like that, and Gilbert did not, and shows that he can have games like this as well. So there you go. Ben Murdoch-Masila, he's back, baby. We actually make some money now, team. How exciting is that? 35 in this one, played the full 80 and didn't really set too much of a foot wrong. He did have 1 error in there, but 2 missed tackles, 108 meters run, did have a line break assist and 1 tackle break. So, if he can get 80 on a regular basis, maybe we do make a little bit of money out of him. We made 2. We were very happy with that last week, but we'll hopefully get up to about 20 after this score, which is great. And then hopefully a few more weeks out of him. Especially with Dragons playing well, maybe they keep the same formula and he builds into some fitness. Obviously playing 80 is a great start. Isaiah Katoa, so 32 for him. He ended up having to be the focal point there. 358 kick meters was good signs, but really 32, not great because you're not getting a lot of him running wise, and tackles, you're only netting 6 points out of him with the 5 missed tackles. So 1 try assist, kick meters is what you're kind of looking for with him. And the rest is kind of all just a bit of luck from there. So 32, again, you make some cash. He's really cheap. There'll be still people out there that next week will be looking to pick up him, or potentially Milford's replacement because he has a hamstring injury. So who would come in at 6? I'm not exactly sure at this stage, but we will find out. Ray Stone did come in and play big minutes in this one. So could he play 6? I don't know. I don't know how it's going to play out. But Katoa is going to be that main guy and should be able to score you. Like in a game like this where they got pumped, he should be able to score you a 30 pretty regularly and make some cash. At a cheap price, to cheap cash down, so you could get a Nico Hines or the like there. Okay, Nichols, 29. So had the sin bin, guys. Take that out of his game, and he's up in the mid-30s, which is okay, but I still think he's very close to a sell if you started with him. All right, another fall from grace player here was Hammer, and that was a nice little finish, a nice little try to end things, and he keeps scoring right near the end. Same with Sloan, same with Katoni Staggs, who we'll speak about in a second, but yeah, a big finish for him. Still got those 5 kick defusals. That's kind of in his base stats now, that 5 or 6, which is good. Run meters down a tick. Again, that 99 is a bit of a killer for anyone who owns him. But 28 in this one, still averaging 45. If you picked him up this week, you're upset because you would have thought the Dolphins could come out and do pretty well. But it does show how important guys like Sean O'Sullivan, Felice Kafusi are in this outfit. But Milf went down early enough, and the score was close enough that maybe they could have done all right if Milf stayed on there. Stoney, yeah, we'll work out all these guys. People have brought in Herman Essay, 37 minutes, 25 points, just a no. Aiken, again, just a no for now, especially with how the Dolphins are looking. I'm a little bit stressed and a little bit worried as to how they're going to come out and play going forward. Mason Teague there, 17 in his time on the park. Again, just one of those guys that we needed to avoid. We weren't sure on his output. He had 1 good game, just like Brendan Hands. I think we need to see a couple from these guys, unless you know that they're a clear gun. And we're not sure with Teague. Bostock, we know, is a good player, but if you're in a team that goes poorly, you're obviously going to have a bit of a tough one. And he had 2 close try-scoring opportunities that just didn't happen. A couple of bouts of good defense from the Dragons. Who would have thought? So, well done to them. But 15, so not great. Hopefully next week is better. He can keep that spot, and you go from there. But Asako getting 80, and then Bostock getting 15 on the other edge. Not so fun. Wallace right down as well, so if you have him, that 12 is going to kill his money-making potential, so get rid of him. Milford, 7 in this one, not great. Was doing his thing until that point, and then did his hamstring. So it looks like he'll be out for a bit. Just wait and on the news for NRL Physio, and we can discuss things further from there. But in the Broncos and the Tigers, we move to Paddy Carrigan. Let's go straight to him. Well done if you actually traded him out this week. It was luck. It was pure luck. I know the reasons why you're doing it. You were trying to get someone who could make a little bit more money, potentially, like a Hosking. free up some cash to be able to get to Hines this week or in a couple of weeks. And if Carrigan was your scapegoat, it worked out great. If Murray was your scapegoat, it didn't work out great. The reason why you would go Carrigan over Murray is Murray's done it over a longer period of time. He plays more minutes than Carrigan. That would be the clear ones. And then he was 100k cheaper though. So if you wanted more money, then you would go for Muzz in that one. But guys, remember this game, he's obviously playing less minutes. He played 53 straight. You knew he was not going to come back on from then. We were worried that Payne Haas wasn't going to come on, but that's another story. So 53 straight, 12 tackles, guys. That doesn't happen. They just had the ball the whole time. As for the reasons why he got 158 run meters there. End up with 2 offloads in this one. And it offloads to hand and then 2 to ground. So picked up 12 points in that one, which was okay, but no tackle breaks in this one. Look, in these types of games where it looks like they're going to come out and dominate, he could have scored a try like Payne Haas. It just didn't work out that way. So just shows the fortunes and the changes of fortunes there that you have when guys like this are averaging in the high 50s and making 7-8 points on their starting price, and then now he's down to 54 and he'll only make about 4 points on his price that he's priced at a 50 there. So shows that, 1 week can change everything. And that's where Murray owners were very stressed, because he had that 45 in his average where you look at his average of 58 and you go, oh, well, that's not anywhere near what he's priced at. But that 45 just killed any potential of holding his price, whereas Carrigan has at least gone up. So that's that with Carrigan. Let's go up top and let's get excited about the Payne Haas. What a man. 1 try in this one, 1 line break assist, 6 tackle breaks, 4 offloads, 144 meters. I don't even know if he's missed a tackle over the first 5 games. He might have missed 1 or 2, but 73 points in 46 minutes. If this was a normal game, he gets 55 to 60 minutes. But again, there's no point. He's in Ramadan at the moment. I was just hoping that he came back on and got that sort of 10 to 15 minutes at the end, and he did a great job. He got a couple extra offloads, ran the ball a bit, a couple of tackles, and snuck up to 73. So he's averaging 66.6 now, which is exactly what we were. It's probably exceeded what we're hoping for. Priced at a 56, we're hoping for about a 62, 63, which is about normal for him. But these last 2 weeks are showing what he can do when he's fit. Years past, the starts of the year, he comes out and he just hits 70 after 70. And if you captained him this week, you're very happy as well. Let's talk about Shawnee Bloor. What an incredible game for him. And for those that held faith in him, at 273k, I traded him out at the start because I play. Of course, this is how it works, right? You play him, he gets a HIA 13 in 19 minutes, playing pretty well, doing his job. You then trade him out because he's going to be out for a week. He's not going to make any cash over the first bunch because of that 13, because he's going to be out. You keep Talau. How good? How good? Obviously, it helped me with the loop this week, so there's something to do with it. But yeah, Blory there gets his opportunity eventually. 58 minutes. I don't know where that's come from exactly. All their players just played a little bit low. So Pole, for example, had 50, had Bateman with 58, I believe, which we'll get down to in a sec. But yeah, a few of those guys just having lower minutes. Even Isaiah Papali'i off and had 73 in total. So they're kind of spreading the minutes around a little bit. And Blory got 58 and picked up a try saver there, 4 offloads. Real no negatives in this one, just the 1 missed tackle and the inside 10. So would you pick him up next week? I think it's still too unknown in terms of minutes. He had a good one previous game. What about he wasn't even going to play this one? He came in, he was 18th man and came in and played in the interchange in the hour before game team list. So pretty exciting. But he'll be over 300 this week pretty comfortably. Yes, he'll have a low break even. He would be a risk, I think, if you picked him up. But the way he played in this game when they got pumped 46-12 is very exciting news for anyone who does own him. And I had a few guys like, had him in my looper spot, and that was very unexpected. They were thinking he was going to get 25 or something like that. But to come out and get this, incredible work. Isaiah Papali'i, 60 in this one. So 73 minutes, did pick up a try. He's getting back into his work, guys. The last few weeks have been awesome, averaging 62 now. So he has lost that little bit of cash. After his bye, I think it's going to be a great time to attack him and pop him into that edge, especially when we start trading out the guys like Trent Leoros, the Katoas, depending how Hosking ends up. We've got Jackson Ford, these types of guys. When they start to make a lot of, finish making a lot of their money, could be a great move to go to Isaiah Papali'i. Okay, Walshy there, 54. So he just looks electric, doesn't he? 2 line breaks, 3 try assists there. 194 meters was great news. Every time he gets the ball on that edge, he runs for at least 20, 30 meters before they even tackle him, or he passes it and gets a try assist or something like that. So, as I said, with the Broncos, they were the players that you wanted to pop in your side. The Walshies, the Haases there. Carrigan yeah, whether you traded him, people traded him out, so he was more of a hold. Didn't work out, but those two guys there, Haas, Walshy there, Farnworth would have been, someone that I definitely spoke about, but he ended up with the try, but just very limited on attacking stats in tackle breaks and offloads, which is weird for him, and did have 3 errors. But those two guys especially were the guys we were targeting, and they still have, I think, the Titans and Raiders, I believe, the next two. So Raiders first and Titans, I believe. So that you should expect some decent scores out of them. Raiders got pumped last week, and yeah, that's that. Reynolds bounced back for him. Didn't have to do a lot in this one. Obviously, kick meters was right down at 217. Run meters there at 75. Tackles, okay. Goals there. Then he moved to Cobbo, so 41 for him. That was okay. Just was hardly involved. Then he just pop up and have a really big run. 234 run meters for him. 1 try in that one. Worked out all right. Stefano Utukamanu, so he had a good game as well. He's actually doing really well. He looks even bigger and stronger. So if you did own him this year, it's worked out a lot better than it did the previous year. But 116k in this one. 40 points 116k made. 40 points in this one. 28 tackles, 88 run meters, doing his thing. He's got a little offload to ground. He just threw out the back. Didn't really help them, but that was that. 2 tackle breaks and sort of did his job in the middle for what he could. But that's that. I think you either can hold him or move him on in the next few weeks for sure. Maybe just move him on at their bye, which is in 2 weeks. 2 weeks, yeah. All right, Stafford Toa, 37 for him. Tapau, 36. Yeah, spoke about Carrigan. Farnworth, we kind of mentioned there, just didn't have a lot go his way. He'll be fine up and down, obviously, like normal centers. Bateman, 57 minutes for him. So rib issue at the moment. That's why he would have played the lesser minutes. And Blory was the one to benefit from that. Clemmer, get him out of your side, guys, to the minutes. It's like, oh, he came back on at the end. I was like, oh, hey, bro, welcome back. But hadn't seen you for a long time. That's that. Mam, 29. I think you need to get rid of him, guys. He started really well. Just popped up in the right spot at all times, and it's just not happening anymore. Still getting a try assist, but too many negatives and not doing great. Stagsy, he just gets lucky, doesn't he? He pops up in the right spot, so he obviously gets a lot of those grubber kicks as well. But 2 tries, 28 points. I think it's time to move on from Stags. Even in these games where they are dominating, he still isn't able to score great. And the last 2 weeks, he's been bailed out. This week, half bailed out. 28, still not good enough. So 3 errors, 4 missed tackles. These are the games he has, guys. Could come out and get 60 or 70 next week, but I know personally I'd be annoyed owning him, hoping that he would turn into a keeper. And he hasn't made any money yet, so that's that. Pole, as I said, 27 for him. Coruscant, 27, get rid of him as well. Get rid of Dewey, guys, 25. Looks okay, kicks a little bit. 5 kick defusals, run the ball for 143, but 11 in negatives. No tackles, which he used to get 20 odd. So, yeah, game over. Unfortunately, if he keeps getting named in fullback, the only chance would be if he gets named at 5'8", but then he's got a bye coming up. So, just move on from him. Hope you enjoyed those Saturday games, guys. There's 2 games to go. If you did pick up Hines and captain him, I actually hope he only scores about 55. I'm sorry, I have to say it. Look, I don't want him to score well today. I don't. I want his price to go down. It's probably not going to. He has too high of a 98 in there, but I hope it does. Good luck, but not good luck.